Yes, sir. I can see your screen.
So today we are going to start with SQL injection.
Mm-hmm.
So did you go through that basics of SQL syntax? SQL syntax basics.
Yes, I did. Uh, some of it I totally understand, but
Okay.
some of it I did not.
Okay.
So, give me a sec. The union, the only ones I did not read it through actually, because I, I did not find it on there or something else. Yeah, sorry, union I didn't read it. Other than that, I read all of it, and I
Okay.
practice as well. Try it yourself thing. I did that too.
Okay. Okay. No worries. We'll cover it here then.
Mhm. So how's the weather over there?
Weather is nice here. It's a bit cool if we compare it with the June weather, regular weather,
Mm-hmm.
I would say. Otherwise, in June, it starts getting a lot hot here.
I I know. So we need to run the Kali.
Yeah, so we are going to use Kali to do everything to perform SQL injection.
Do we need B box as well or no?
No, we do not need Bebop. We have a different website for it for this SQL injection. Okay, so Kali is switched on. Now I'm going to open my browser and my terminal.
Uh, are we recording this one?
Yeah, we are recording. Let me just confirm this thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so for today, I'm going to go to this website called Boolean Web. It's test php dot Boolean Web. Okay, what was its name?
Mm,
Test PHP Boolean Web.
.com, I guess.
Yeah, right. .com. Home of Equinetics art. So again, it's an intentionally vulnerable web page, okay,
Mm-hmm.
on which we are going to practice.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see if I can zoom it a little. Right. So the first thing that we are going to do is called your SQL injection authentication bypass. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to try to do authentication bypass using SQL. So for authentication bypass, first of all, we need to have some kind of authentication page.
Mm-hmm.
So here, I clicked on your profile, and there it is your username and password page here. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter here something that is not my username, neither my password, but still I will be able to log in. Okay. So let me show it to you. What is my payload? This is going to be my payload. Copy it and paste it.
So it don't have to be like any username and a password, yeah.
Yeah, right. So authentication bypass, what happens in authentication bypass is, let's say you do not know the credentials, but you still
Mm-hmm.
want to gain access to the system.
Mm-hmm.
You still want to log in. So
Mm-hmm.
how are you going to log in without knowing any username or password? That's the thing here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me click on login.
I want login.
Save. So I have successfully logged in. As you can see here, it is now giving me an option to log out. Okay.
But when I said admin and a password admin, it did not log in actually. So let me try.
Admin and password admin.
No, admin is a username and admin is a password.
So that is not your SQL injection payload, right? And that is not a valid credential. So why it is going to log in?
So the way you logged in, it was a valid credential.
No, no, it was not valid credential. It was my SQL injection payload. It was my payload that I entered. And I'm going to explain you now that why was I
Oh,
able to
okay.
log in with that thing. That
Mm-hmm,
was
mm-hmm.
not the credential.
Okay, okay, okay.
If I talk
Hmm.
about the credential, let me show it to you. At this
It's
login page
test.
itself, it's test and test only.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
Hmm.
Now, why was I able to log in? That is the big question here. So let's try to understand it. Let's try to build a sample query here. Open paint. So whenever a user tries to log in, what is the sample query? I would say, what is the kind of SQL query that runs behind the scenes that takes the user input and gets executed on the database and checks for the valid credentials. So how does it look like? It is going to be like select uname
Comma.
password
Plus.
from table name. It can be
Mm-hmm.
users, okay, where uname is equals to something 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 here, and password is equals to something something something. Okay. um, Okay, so here the text in red color, this is your standard SQL syntax. Okay, this is
Mm-hmm.
how you select something from the database. You fetch something out from the database,
Mm-hmm.
right? So,
Yep.
okay, so what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to search for this or a specific username and specific password in the database.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what this query is going to return. The question is what this query is going to return. So whatever the user is going to input, it is going to be entered here, right?
Yep.
The username is going to go here and the password is going to go here at this place. Now the
Yep.
query is going to be run on the database, and these credentials are going to be matched. See if these credentials exist in the database. If both username and password matches, okay. So as we are having this AND condition, that is a AND Boolean operator. Okay. So do you know AND Boolean operator? Logical gate, and
No.
okay, let me open it here. Specifically, conditional operator. Okay. So what AND is going to do is either you can take an example of this image, or okay, so we'll refer to this image later on. Let me uh, okay, take this example. Here on the left side you can see the AND operator. So it says if two inputs are given, A and B, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and operation is applied to them. So what is
Mm-hmm.
going to be the output? So if both the inputs are 0, the output is going to be 0.
Mm-hmm.
If any one of them is 0 and one of them is 1, output is still going to be 0.
Mm-hmm.
When output is going to be 1? When both of the inputs are going to be 1.
Mm-hmm. So the correct one is 1. Is that right?
Sorry, the correct one is
1.
okay. The, like I'm not getting in what respect you are saying.
Oh, sorry. So 0 equal to like A is 0, B is 0 equal to 0. I did not get it. What are we talking about right here? And yes,
We,
but I did not get it, the concept of 0, 0 and 0, 1.
okay, so it's a Boolean operator. Okay,
Uh-huh.
it's a logical
What's
gate.
the
It's
boolean?
like okay, Boolean operators are something that gives you output in true and false. Okay, true
Okay,
and false is yeah, basically Boolean, and zero basically represents false, and
false,
one
and 1 is
basically represents true.
true.
Okay,
Yes.
and just like we do plus, minus,
Uh-huh.
multiplication, divide,
Uh-huh.
similarly here this is another operator that is and is understood by the machines. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so what happens when we are going to do 0 plus 0, 0 plus 1, 1 plus 0, or
False.
1 plus 1? No, no, that
Uh-huh.
I'm talking about literal mathematical plus operator, plus sign, if we call about.
So 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1.
Yeah, right. So that is,
Yeah.
so how do you know that? Because you know how, what does plus operator means, right?
Uh-huh.
That it's a mathematical operator, and whenever we are going to put a plus between two figures, this is how you are
Uh-huh.
going to calculate it, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, similarly, there is this AND operator. Okay,
Uh-huh.
whenever you are going to put an AND operator between two, like 0 and 0, so the input can be only either 0 or 1.
Yep.
Input cannot be anything other than these four set, or these four possible combinations that you see on your screen here.
Uh-huh.
The four possible combinations for input are like both of the inputs are false, one of the input is true, one of the input is false, and both of the inputs are true. That is 1 1.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So similarly, this is also your AND operator only, but in this, instead of representing the inputs as 0 and 1s, we are representing it in true and false. So the true and true input is only going to give you the output as true.
True.
If any one of them is true and other one of them is false, the output is still going to be false.
False.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So let's go back here. So here we can see that where is your conditional statement, and it is using AND. So AND is only going to return a true output only when both of the conditions are going to be true. And both of the conditions are one on the left side, one on the right side. One is your username, one is your password. When both of them are going to be true, then only AND is going to return a true output.
Yep.
Okay. So at the end of the day, the user is only going to be allowed a login when both of this are going to be true, when both of them are going to match.
Uh-huh.
For both of them to match, these individual entities needs to be true.
Yep.
When they are going to be true, the overall query is going to become true automatically.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so just give me a second. So I was telling you about this true. Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to try to make these queries true individually. Okay. If I make these query return a true output, I would be allowed login.
Yes.
So what I did was I what I entered was this was my payload. Let me change the color. One or one equals to, right? This was something that I entered.
Yep.
Okay, so this is my basically SQL injection authentication bypass payload. Okay.
So,
So
a
yeah,
question.
yeah,
So, did you create that payload? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, uh, was I able to understand your question properly? What?
What was my question? What's my question is, you created this payload on this website.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
Okay.
you were able to log in. Is that right? So
Right.
you sign up, in a way to say you sign up on there.
Okay. Although sign up is not allowed there, I tried to log in there. I did not
So you
sign up.
can, okay. So you did not sign up anything.
Nope.
Like how the website have it, where's the login page is. You can also sign up here. Sign up
Mm-hmm.
disabled.
Yeah.
Please use the username and password.
Mm-hmm.
So when I
Yeah.
went over there and I have a username, password, retype password, name, credit card number, email, phone number, address. You didn't do it any of those things.
No, I did not do it any of those things.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what
If
I was asking.
yeah, if I would have already done that thing, then logging in with the credentials that I have already created or that
Hmm.
already exist, that does not
Hmm.
make any sense, right? You can also
Yeah.
create any credentials and then try logging in. So that's the normal behavior of the application. That's how applications normally behave,
Yep.
right? You sign up for something, you log in with you create your credentials, you log in with those credentials.
Hmm.
But that is not something that we are doing here. Okay.
Hmm. Just
Okay.
trying to understand.
Yeah, yeah, no, no issues, no issues. So this is my payload. Okay, it's I would say it's a malicious query that is going to
Hmm.
allow us logging in.
Yep.
So if you see it here, the apostrophes here are not balanced. Okay, we still have an apostrophe that is missing
One of
here
here.
and an apostrophe here.
Hmm.
Okay, so what we did was when we entered this query, what happened? This query got right into the username and password field. Right?
Hmm.
Let me just create a copy of it. Control. Okay, now let's enter our query here. This was our payload, and it's going to go right here in the input. After that, this is going to be the query. and the same input was given in the password field as well, right? So the same payload is going to go in the password as well. Okay. So now I select yeah. Here it is. Select. So this is how behind the scenes my query would look like when I am going to enter this payload.
Yep.
Now, once I entered this payload, you can see the apostrophe is getting balanced here. You can see the apostrophe is getting balanced, right?
Yep.
Can you see them in pair now? You can see one pair is being created here.
Yep. And the other one is at the back.
Yeah. Okay. So now I
Same
need
thing
to,
with the password.
right, same thing is happening with the password.
Mm-hmm.
Now we need to understand what is the output of this query. Okay. What we are trying to do
Mm-hmm.
here is this OR is another Boolean operator that we are using. Okay. And how does OR behaves? So OR is going to give you an true output if either of the one input is true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me show you the OR table as well. So you have understood the AND operator, right?
And table, yes, yes.
Or
Same thing with the if, or, and. Yep.
yeah, here is the OR table. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In the OR table, you can see the output, how the application is going to behave, and you can very well notice the difference between OR and AND.
Yep.
So
If both
OR
of
is
them
going,
are false, then
then only it
inquiry
is
is
going to
false.
return false.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it is
But
going to
other
return
than
true.
true.
Yeah.
Yep.
If even one side, if even one side A or B, any one of them is true,
Mm-hmm.
it is going to give you a true output.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back here. So in here, if I ask you this question, that Navneet, please tell me, is 1 is equals to 1 true or false?
True.
True. Okay, so here you can see, or 1 is equals to 1.
True.
This returns true.
Mm-hmm.
So or, so we do not care about anything that is on the left side. Okay,
Yep.
automatically or operator is going to give us a true output.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, same thing is going to happen on the passwords case. It is going to give us true output, and when AND operator is applied and both of the inputs are true, the AND is going to give you a true output, and this is how you are going to create a true output and you would be able to log in.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
so this is it. This is how we logged in. This is your Sql injection authentication bypass. Okay,
Mm.
this is the logic behind why we were able to log in successfully.
Okay. So let me try something. The matter is only after the or, before or and after or.
So I just need to create any of the two inputs as true. If I'm applying
Yep.
or gate,
Yep.
either first part or the second part. That's the thing.
Hmm.
So I just created the second part true, and
Yep.
or gave me a true output.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I was testing something else actually.
Okay. What were you testing?
Changing the numbers, and so we can do it through alphabet as well, or
We
no?
can do it with different numbers as well. Were you able to succeed with different numbers?
So if I put it 1 or 2 equal to 2, then yes.
Hmm.
But when I try 2 or 2 equal to 3, then no.
Definitely, because there the condition is not returning a true output.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was just testing. So we can do it. Just give me a second. One more time. Uh, Copy and paste. Okay, so we can do it through the alphabet as well. So if we try A equal to A and then copy paste on a password, yes, we are able to log in as well.
Yes, right. We can do it with alphabets as well. We can do it with different numbers as well. The end point is that there is a condition there that equals to
Mm-hmm.
it. It is matching. If the both
Yep.
those strings are going to be same, it is going to give
Mm-hmm.
you a true output.
Yep.
That's the thing. Okay. So here in this case, all of this true output basically started from this small condition. Okay. You just have to um, um, I would say make it true, this small condition, and everything
Mm-hmm.
else is going to fall into place.
And it's applied when there is a PHP language.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Okay, so we have successfully logged in using those credentials. Let me go back here. Yeah, so of 1 is equals to 1. Okay, so similarly, we have got here is your Sql injection payloads cheat sheet. Let me show it to you. So here you can see that there are multiple, I would say multiple variety of payloads that you can use while trying the authentication bypass. Okay. Hello. Navneet, can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry.
Okay.
I was looking at the cheat sheet, so.
Okay. Yeah. So here you can see this is the cheat sheet. Okay. These are your
Hmm.
those different variety of payloads that you can try at any login page to try doing an authentication bypass. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. I've mentioned the link to this cheat sheet in my notes as well.
Perfect.
Okay. Now let's proceed towards the union select injection. So let's click on browse artist, browse categories. Okay, so I clicked on browse categories, then I selected posters. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do SQL injection union select. Union select get based SQL injection. Okay. When I say get based, so get based, you would already know that get parameters, as I told you, are those parameters that are going to be uh, reflected in the URL.
Hmm.
That are your get based parameters, right? So here in the
Yes.
URL, you can see this. There is your this cat question mark cat is equals to 1.
Hmm.
Okay? That is your get based parameter.
Hmm.
Okay? So now what we are going to do is we are going to inject, try doing an SQL injection here. So what is our motive here? We want to dump sensitive information or anything that is stored inside the database. We want to see it. Okay. Ideally, a user cannot see the backend database, right? The user
Hmm.
is not allowed to access it, not
No.
allowed to read it, anything like that. So
Hmm.
here, what we are going to do is we are going to dump the data out of the database. So we'll
Okay.
start with fuzzing. This is the parameter question mark cat is equals to 1. So there is some kind of a SQL query that is running behind the scenes in the backend that we do not know. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with an apostrophe sign here. Okay. Why? Why I'm providing an apostrophe sign? I'm doing an apostrophe sign to see if the query breaks. Okay.
Yep.
Why? Why the query is going to break? Because in programming language, if you do not put these commas, apostrophes, or brackets in pairs,
Hmm.
the code the code starts generating errors, right?
Yep.
These things can needs to be used in pairs. If you open a bracket, close it. If you open a comma, close it.
Close it.
Okay, right? So I just
Hmm.
uh,
Comma
put
can't. How do you close comma? Semicolon, you
apostrophes.
mean?
No, no,
Yeah.
that is apostrophe.
Yeah.
Semicolon is individual.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, press enter, and here I am presented with an error.
Hmm.
So the error is, it says you have an error in your SQL syntax. Check the manual and all that stuff, blah blah blah. Main thing that I got to know here is I am able to break the query. First thing. Okay.
Okay.
Another thing that I am able to understand here is that behind the scenes, it is MySQL that is running. MySQL is running behind the scenes.
Okay.
Okay. So the SQL injection that we are going to do now is it is going to be based on MySQL database.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now what I'm going to do is simply remove it. Let me go to my terminal. Desktop. So this is sort of whatever I'm going to keep on finding, I'm going to keep on documenting it in this text file. Okay. MySQL. Success in breaking the query using apostrophe. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use order by clause, okay, to find out how many number of columns are included on the left side of the query. So you would have already done order by clause in the W3 schools, right? So
Yep.
order by is used to rearrange the output with the mentioned column, right?
Hello.
So here
Sorry.
you
Pardon
can
me.
hear me. Yeah, I'm saying order by clause is used
Mm-hmm.
to rearrange or reorder the output,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm. That's only once. Yes. Yes. Order by. Yes. 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 Where was it? Mm, oops. Paste. Right here. Order by name or order by something. Yep.
Those are your column names, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So when I go to this order by, you can see this is your standard query. This is the
Mm-hmm.
database that is running. The database is
Mm-hmm.
having 7 columns, total of 7
Yep.
columns, right?
Yep.
And when I said select star from customers, that means that I'm outputting all the 7 columns,
Mm-hmm.
everything out, right? So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do order by. I'm trying to reorder the output. Okay. But here I do not know what all column names are used behind the scene. I
Mm-hmm.
do not know anything about the database. The only thing that I know about the database is that it's a MySQL database. That's
My
all,
SQL database. Yep.
right? I do not know the column names, so I am referring the columns as the as their index numbers. Okay. So one is
Yep.
going to be in the first column. I can do order by 2. That is going to be in second column. And you can see the output is going to vary.
Gee.
Yeah, it is going to be basically reordered. The same thing you would have experienced when you would be doing this SQL order by exercise. Whenever you would
Mhm.
have changed the order by column, the output
Mhm.
is going to vary, right? It is going to reorder as per the different column and so on,
Mhm.
right? Do I need to show you
Yep.
an example, or is it fine?
No, I did that exercise.
Okay, cool. So similarly, I'm going to keep on trying it. Order by 2, order by 3, order by 4,
To find how many columns there are.
right? To find out how many columns exist.
So did you put it a space between the one order space by order one?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have put space between all of them.
3, 4, 5, 6.
So 10 is also working. Order by 11, that is also working. Order by 12, and that throws me an error.
Okay, okay. We are looking for an error. Yep.
Yeah, right. Order
So
by,
as long as if even though it's not changing, but there is something got changed. Yep.
yeah, maybe we are not able, maybe nothing, no output is reflected. That can be
Hmm.
a case. Okay?
Yeah,
But still,
that's what I'm seeing actually.
yeah, the query is working, right? We are
Yep.
waiting for it to generate an error.
Okay, it's 12 actually.
Yeah, so it says
So
unknown.
we have a 11 column.
Exactly. So we got to know that there are uh, number of columns is equals to 11, right? We have got 11 number of columns. Now what we are going to do? We are going to use the union statement. Union select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
So I just wrote it too. We found it number of column is 11 and it's in a MySQL, but you have it more on your notes.
Now, on my notes, it is
Hmm. Finding number of column with the order of one, so on. Giving error. Order by 12 giving an error number of column. Okay, so you just reopen everything, yeah. So order by 12 giving an error.
yeah,
Finding number of column with the order by close.
right,
Yep.
right. I'm just
Hmm.
trying to document my findings. That's all, nothing else. Whatever I'm saying, that's what I'm writing. Okay. Do you have any doubt?
Just give me a second. I'm just trying to be Okay, now I'm where you are. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I use union select. Okay.
So we go union select. Yep.
Yeah. So union select and the number of columns that I have found. So for union is an operator that can be used con- uh, to to use two select statements. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let me go here. Union. One select statement is already running on the left hand side. Okay, on the left hand side of this query here. Something is running in the backend, right? That we cannot control.
Yep.
So after that, I am appending my statement. I'm just adding a union operator, and I'm saying that I'm also going to provide you another select statement. This is my second
Mm-hmm.
select statement. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and when we do a union operator, so when we are using two select statements, one on the left side of the union, one is on the right side of the statement, one is
Mm-hmm.
outside of the union, as you can see here. So the column numbers on both of the sides needs to be same. Okay,
Yep.
so that's why I was required to know the number of columns. As now I know the number of columns, I can do a union select. I did a
Mm-hmm.
union select and I gave the number of columns here, 11.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And at the end, I've used hyphen hyphen space hyphen. That is your comment symbol here. Okay. I did union select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Okay. And at the end, what I did was hyphen hyphen hyphen. This is your comment symbol. So I just want to comment anything after that. Comment out it. Okay.
So space hyphen hyphen space hyphen is comment symbol. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's that mean actually? So if there is anything after 11, it will come on.
So it is going to comment out. It is
Okay.
going to get commented out. It is not going to be considered as part of the SQL query.
Okay.
It's like normally in programming language, but just like this comment is going to mean same here as well. The same meaning as it is used in programming language. When we do not
Mm-hmm.
want a piece of line to be considered as part of code, we just put a comment symbol before that line. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I do not want this line to be get executed, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
commenting it out. That's the thing here. So I do not know. Maybe by default something is getting appended at the end of the user input. I
Mm-hmm.
do not know how did the developer design the query. That's why I just put a comment sign here that if
Mm-hmm.
there is anything, just comment it out. So this way the query is going to end here at this point.
Okay.
Okay, just press enter. Okay, so the query is running
Mm.
and we can see while scrolling
So
down, we can see.
union select. It didn't work on me. So
Sorry, it
what
did
did
not
I
work
do
on you.
wrong? No. So I put it number one space union
Mm-hmm.
space select
Mm-hmm.
select and number one
Space one.
comma Oh, space 1.
Yeah.
This might be. Okay, now I got it.
Okay, so here, when I scroll down, I can see some numbers appearing up here.
7 to 9.
Yeah. So these are my vulnerable columns, I would say. Okay.
Okay, so 7, 2, and 9, or
Yeah.
7, 2.
7, 2, and 9.
Okay.
7, 2, and 9 we have found in the vulnerable columns. That
Yeah.
currently from these columns,
And how do we know that's vulnerable?
because it is getting reflected out of all the 11 columns. These are the only
Mhm.
ones which are getting reflected in the output. So we
Okay.
can only fetch data out of those columns which are being reflected on the screens, okay, in front of us. Those columns which are being selected but are not reflected on the screen, we cannot use them, right?
Okay, just give me a quick sec, please. I just want to take a look something else actually. Sorry, I'm just stopping you in the middle.
No issue.
So browse category, posters. Okay,
Okay.
clear.
So here column number 7, 2, and 9 are being reflected on my screen.
Hmm.
So now from here I'll start injecting my query. Okay, uh, I'll start trying. I'll try fetching something out of the database. Okay.
So we're
Rather
going
than
to write it down this that vulnerable
columns 7, 2, and 9 form.
column 7, sorry, 2, 7, and 9. Am I right?
Yeah. Another interesting thing that I can show you is, as of now, what it is doing is it is showing me the output from the first query, and then it is showing me the output from the second query, right?
Hmm.
If I make the first query false, okay, then it is only going to show me the output from second query. So if I did a 1 instead of minus, so if I make it
Hello.
minus 1,
Sorry,
hello,
I lost it. Yep.
yeah, I'm saying that if you do a minus 1 instead of 1, that is going to make this first initial query false. Okay. Getting my point?
So false.
Yeah. So then the first query is not going to return me any output.
No.
Press enter,
So it's
and now
going to
you can
the.
see. Yeah. So now I can only see the output from the second query.
Hmm.
So I can see another column here, that's 11.
Yep.
11 is also here.
It's vulnerable.
Yeah.
So why did it show us? So it did not show us that that's a vulnerable as well.
Initially, when the query was returning output, when the first query was returning output, then we were not
Hmm.
able to see the 11th column, right? But if
Yeah.
the first query is not returning the output, then we can see the 11th column.
Yep.
Okay, let's do one thing. Let's make it true again. Let's ignore the 11th column as of now. Let's try injecting let's try playing around with 7, 2, and 9 only. 7, 2, and 9. So here we are. Now there is a function called database function. Okay. How does it look like? Let me just show it to you on the terminal instead. I can increase the font size now.
Data type.
Yeah, so the function is this database function.
Oh, it's a function. Sorry.
Yeah. It's a function like database. There's another function called version. So is going to hold the value, the version of the database. Database function is going to hold the value of the name of the database. Okay, so let's try fetching those information out. First of all, we want to know what is the name of the database. So seventh column. Okay, so I'll replace the seventh number with this thing database BASE database function. Press enter, and in the output where seventh column was reflected, you can see now I can see the name of the database instead. That's Eccouncil.
Yep. Seventh column database is Eccouncil. Eccouncil. Okay.
Eccouncil. Name of the database.
Seventh
Okay,
column.
so
Yeah.
yeah, give me 2 minutes. Let me go to washroom. I'll be right back. Okay.
I was about to ask you to.
Okay, yeah, so I'm back.
Yep.
Okay, so we have found the database name, that is Eccouncil. Okay, so we could have
Seventh column.
yeah, we
Seventh column.
chose seventh column. We could have entered this very in second column or ninth column as well. Okay, that is not an issue. If I would have entered this database function in second column, then the output would have been reflected me here. Okay.
Same one. If we enter the same query right here,
Yeah.
enter it, we'll bring it to Eccouncil. Yep.
So now what I'm going to do is I need to understand the structure of the database, how generally databases are stored. So in every database, there is going to be like a database. First of all, there's going to be a database. There's going to
Sorry,
be a
I'm
name
just
for the
going to
database.
excuse.
Yeah,
So if we enter on a 11, there is a nothing comes up.
that is only going to be reflected if you make the first query false. Make it untrue, inject it on the 11th column, and you will see the output.
Sorry, I'm just excusing you in the middle of.
No issue. So
Okay, okay.
11th column is only getting reflected when the first query is false.
False, yes.
Okay. So as of now, we are just considering 7, 2, and 9 columns as vulnerable because we
Mm-hmm.
are doing all this thing with first query in place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, going back to my notepad, there is going to be a database. In that database, there are going to be tables that are going to have names, and in those tables, there are going to be columns, and in those columns, there is going to be data. So I want this data out. Okay, I want to get to this data, but to get to this data, I need to go through all this chain. First of all, I need to know the database name, then I need to know
Yep.
the table name, then I need to know the column name, then I need
Mm-hmm.
to decide consciously that from which column, so from which database, from which table of that database, from which column of that table that I chose, I want the data out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, database name has been found. Now I'll start looking for the table name. Okay, how can I get the table name out? So I'll be injecting on the second parameter here, second column. I just took a screenshot accidentally. Okay. So yeah, table underscore name. Yeah, that's the function here. Table underscore name from information underscore schema dot tables where table underscore schema is equals to acq art. Okay. So now what I'm doing is I know that in every MySQL database there's an information schema. Okay. There's a database called information schema
Mm-hmm.
that holds all the entries for all the tables and all the columns that exist in the database. Everything. So there's a
Mm-hmm.
standard database called information schema. Okay. So now what I'm doing is, as I know that there is going to be table names stored inside the information schema. So I'm trying to fetch table names out of that information schema.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have provided that I want the table names for this database. There can be more than one database as well. Okay, so that's why I need to provide the database name as well, so that I only want the table names of this database.
Yep.
So this is my query now. It says table underscore name 3456 database. Okay, from information underscore schema dot tables where table underscore schema is equals to eqart. Let's press enter. And here in the output I can see
Okay. Union select one. Just hold on, please. TABLE underscore name 3456 database close from Sorry, I'm just going to. Can I see the URL, please?
Yeah, I'm
Quickly.
writing the query here. Okay,
Okay.
let me write the query here. Table underscore name.
Mhm.
Wherever you want to inject it, let's type 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, जो भी, whatever in between. And then at last, you need to write from information underscore schema dot tables, where table underscore schema is equals to accurate.
Hmm. Why it didn't work on me?
Because probably there is some kind of a syntax error that you have done. Okay, there is some
Hmm.
kind of typo that you would have made.
Number one. So you need select one table underscore name 3, 4, 5, 6 database 8, 9, 10, 11. So you went to the 11 or yeah, you went to the 11 from information schema dot table where table underscore schema. Okay, right here. I heard it schema. Um, doo. Found it. Okay, got it.
Okay, so table names found. And what are the table names? Table names are like artists, parts, category, featured,
Guest book, picture,
products,
product, users.
pictures, users. Okay, so these are your different tables that exist inside the database called Eccouncil. Okay, so now we need to decide one table from which we want to fetch the data. Okay, so the users table seems to be, I would say, something of my interest that may be holding some sensitive data, probably. Right? Hello.
Sorry, I'm just writing down.
Sure. So I have provided all of these syntax in my notes as well. Do not worry about that. Okay. Let me show you my notes. Here they are. Whatever I am teaching you, I have written all
Mhm.
thing here as well.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Okay. So now tables have been found. Now I need to find the column names. For column names, what I need to do is I need to first of all decide which table. So let me take users table. Now my query is going to look like 1 comma column underscore name 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 from information underscore schema dot columns where table underscore name is equals to users. Just copy it and paste it here. So here I have found the column names as well.
Pass CC address,
Yeah,
uname.
column names found. It's uname, pass, cc, address, name, phone,
Phone number.
card.
Card.
Yeah, so these are your column names that we have found. Okay, so now we know the database name, we know the table name, we know the column name. Column names found in users table. Yeah, so now we need to fetch the data out of these columns. Okay, now the uname and pass column seems to be important. You see,
Yep.
so we'll try fetching out the information from uname and pass column. Okay, so how to fetch information if you know the column name and if you know the table name? The query is very simple. Select column name, column 1 from table name, whatever table is. This was a generic query. Let me provide a specific query. Select uname, comma, pass from users. It's that easy,
Yep.
right? So same thing I'm going to do here is I want to fetch my information from second and ninth column. In second column, I want the username. Let's go here. In second column, I write uname. In ninth column, I write pass from. Where do I want it? From table name. That is users.
Okay, I lost it.
Where did you lost?
So we use the uname first
Yeah.
in the first column. Yep.
In the second column.
Second column. So if we go up a little bit.
Up. I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sorry, I'm just trying to understand. So
Yeah.
why we pick the second column for uname?
I just wanted it to be in this fashion. I wanted that my uname be placed here because I know that
Mhm.
second column is outputting me data here at this place, and the ninth column is going to output me data here. So I just wanted it
Okay.
to be this way. I can put uname in ninth column. I can put uname in seventh column.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
Yeah,
get.
that is fine. I just want it to be here. That I want my uname to appear here, and I want my
Hmm.
password to appear here, so that I can
Okay. Okay.
easily map it out. That username
Yep.
password. That's that.
Perfect.
Okay. Let's do one thing. Let's inject password. Let's fetch password from 7th column. So my password is going to appear here. Okay, that is fine.
Yep. Anything works as long as I'm asking questions. Sorry, I ask question,
Yeah.
trying to understand what's going on right here. Yeah.
Right. So from users, press enter, and here I can see the output. So the username is test and the password is test. There is only single user that exists in the database that is having the username and password as test.
Test.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So similarly, we can fetch data out of different columns, and we can fetch data out of from different tables as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just like I chose the username and password column, I could have chosen some different column as well. Okay, let's just put uh, CC in the ninth column. Let's put CC in the ninth column. Let's see number. It says number. So there is
Mm-hmm.
no credit card detail there. Instead of credit card detail, there's an entry that
The
is written as number.
number.
Yeah, it's a dummy database actually. So you are not going to find
Mm-hmm.
any credit card actual numbers there.
No.
So similarly, I can get data from other columns, or else what I can do is I can go one step backward and I can select another table, and then I can enumerate columns of that table, and then I
Mm-hmm.
can get data from those columns as
Okay. So is that okay if I will try it?
well. Is it okay?
If I will try those other ones actually.
Yeah, it is okay. It is
Yes.
absolutely fine. Okay, that is going to allow you to have some practice, do some practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that you get things clear.
Yeah.
Let me provide this query here. Email 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 past 10 1 users. So these are those notes that I took in the class, like the session notes.
So the last time you sent me a notes on a WhatsApp was
Yeah.
just a one class note. I feel like it actually.
Did did you go through all of them?
No,
No, I
they
know
they were
you did not read it, right? I have
no, no, no.
provided.
Oh, so you provide it on one actually you merge everything.
Yeah, I just gave you one page, and it
Hmm.
was having all the four session notes. I have provided a very proper differentiation line between all the modules.
Okay, I found it actually.
Yeah.
Just looked into it. Okay, perfect. And now the video. Yeah. Okay, so let's save it. This thing. Cancel, cancel.